Hi gang, I want to talk about that Schumann resonance blast from October the 6th, which is yesterday. Oh my God. Okay, so I gotta tell you the funniest story about it because I didn't realize we were having a massive spike of the Schumann resonance yesterday with the amplitude and the frequency being quite high. And even though the rest of the solar activity and stuff was fine, I'm going to give you a link to one of the resources I like to use, a girl called the Ascension Diaries. Her name is Alexis, and I like her energy and I like the way she reports this stuff. So I'll put the link to her site below if you want to kind of track space weather and Schumann resonance spike. So here's the story. Oh my God, yesterday the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing was going down, and I am a leftist leaner even though I'm Canadian, and so I kind of had that feeling of this dread that he was inevitably probably going to be pass a nomination as a Supreme Court justice. And I won't go into my politics, it doesn't matter, but the point is I had every reason to feel disheartened yesterday, you know, in a down state. And I got up around 11:30. No, I got up from my table where I was working, my office table, yesterday at about 12:30 p.m. and I said to my brother-in-law, I'm staying with my sister, I need to go for a power walk because I was going to swim at noon and I decided I didn't want to do laps. So anyway, this power walk urge strikes me, and so I get like, it's cold and rainy and everything else, I don't care, I get all bundled up in all kinds of clothes and get my walking shoes on. And I go for this power walk with music. I'm listening to my headphones, and suddenly, this is me, guys. I'm like, woo, woo, woo. And I'm like skipping down the street like this, you know. And they're dancing when I'm running. You know, I thought people thought I was nuts because I went down residential streets and then I went into the woods, and it didn't matter. I took about a 30-minute power walk, high-speed dancing thing. And you know, it was a little like Mamma Mia, you know. But anyway, it was really intense. The point isn't that I can dance and run and walk and sing with my headphones on outside. The point is that my mood was so intensely joyful for no good reason. I just was flooded with joy, delight, optimism, hope. And it's not because of Brett Kavanaugh. You know what I'm saying? He just happens to be being nominated that day. I know there's a bunch of QAnon stuff I just found out about, you know, that this is part of the big plan to uncover the deep state. Excuse my unintended sarcasm. That's not my cup of tea. But I want to ask you guys, did you feel anything? Did anyone else have a blast of upbeat energy yesterday? October the 6th around, apparently it spiked at 1 p.m. That would be Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time, you know, 11, 12, 1. Or was it 1 or 2, the spike? Anyway, it spiked yesterday afternoon. I think it spiked at 11 Pacific, so 2 o'clock, spiking, peaking, Eastern Standard Time. And actually, when I think about when I went for a walk, it would have been closer to 1 or 1:15 because I had missed my lap swim time at noon to 1. So let me know, did anyone else get this sense of utter joy and delight yesterday? Now, the other thing I want to talk about is UFOs. I'll just be very brief. I've had about like 12 UFO dreams in 2 months, literally walking along in my dream and looking at the sky and going, oh my gosh, they're here. Not any sense of dread, but great anticipation. I just noticed on Secure Team today, one of the channels I like to follow, guys, Tyler, I'll link to him below, a discussion about more of these UFOs appearing lately in the skies, these silent UFOs. Whether you believe that the footage he has on today's show or the show I'm going to link to is valid or not, it doesn't really matter. I guess the point is it true that we're having more activities in our skies? And if so, are they going to stay hidden? Whatever may be going on in the sky, these interdimensional vehicles or these interstellar vehicles, whatever they are. I have actually seen a UFO, I mean, in my life, for real, twice actually. But the first one when I was a child, and I grew up in Northern Ontario where there's no air traffic at all, like zilch, nada, none. In fact, I'll even show you where I saw the UFOs because I'm actually in my hometown now, and that's the window I'm looking out of where I saw them. And I was with my sisters on a mostly blue sky day. 2 sisters younger than me, I would have been about 10 or 11, and next door neighbor, boy next door. We were so excited, we ran in to call his mother, who was sleeping in her house, to drag her out to see them, but by the time we got back with her, they were gone. Now, what I remember seeing is 3 silver, kind of a burnished silver, like not shiny, discs in a formation with one in the front and two behind. No, it wasn't an airplane, and we don't have air traffic in Northern Ontario. There is no air traffic. There's no jets, there's no jetliners, there's no helicopters, there was no airport then in this area even, and they were just silently gliding below, like the cloud cover. I say below because eventually in the distance they went into a cloud bank, and you know, I stayed out to watch them when my sisters ran into to get the mother, you know, out of her bed or whatever, out of her nap in the middle of the day. This happened midday. Second time I saw UFOs was I was hiking along the Potomac River with my son and husband. My son was a little guy back then. He was about 6. And we're hiking. I lived in Washington, D.C. We're hiking along the Potomac River on these wonderful trails way up River Road. And I came to a cliff and I saw this. I was alone. My husband and son were behind me. And I was ahead, I guess, on the trail, and I saw this silver object. It was less of a UFO, like a standard saucer, and a little bit more roundish, but we didn't even have drones back then. Remember that. People weren't flying drone cameras around. Okay, so I have to date myself. This would have been 1992. And this very silent disc, but more bulbous, a bulbous looking disc, was flying silently across the top of the cliff and over the Potomac River. And it wasn't that high up, and it was completely quiet. So whatever those are, I've seen them in person, and I'm also an experiencer. I knew John Mack, the author of the book Abduction, and I actually met with him and was one of the people that after his book was out, he was doing some workshop work with. So he was a psychiatrist at Harvard. So I've also had the experience in my dreams at night or in my altered states of consciousness of connecting with non-human entities that we could call various things from the Nordics to the Greys, and literally having, you know, stigmata and all kinds of results afterwards on my arms, and have had abduction experiences or whatever you want to call them with corroborating evidence with people I've stayed with in their homes, and they've had experiences too. So that's a whole other part of my past and my history. I'm 56. The bulk of those things were happening in my late 20s all the way through to my late 30s, okay? Thanks for listening this long. The main question is, did you get the wave yesterday? What happened? How did you guys feel on October the 6th? Did anyone else have a spike of joy, excitement, delight, motivation, optimism, and hope despite the political climate, despite the planet and its chaos? And how about the UFO thing? Anyone else dreaming about it? I think if we're dreaming about it, it could be a good thing. I actually wrote a little post on Facebook yesterday saying it's time for some UFOs to land on the White House lawn. I really think we got to do something to shake up the divisiveness and the polarity and the vitriol and the anger that's going on in the United States right now. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. I live in Canada, so don't give me a political lecture. Thanks. I'm Canadian. Thank you. Mwah.